This is the January 27th meeting for the Fall River Traffic Board. At the beginning of the meeting, I'm going to read the open meeting law. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. First off, can we take a roll call, please?
Sure. Natalie Mello,
Here.
Helen Rigo,
Here.
Officer Jose Barboza,
Here.
and Sergeant Dolan.
I'm here. So everyone is present. And the second order of business we're going to do are the minutes from the November and December meetings. Can someone make a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Okay,
Second.
Natalie and Helen said it. So Natalie is approving them. Helen is seconding the approval. Can we take a roll call on that, please?
Sure. Natalie Mello,
Yes.
Helen Rigo,
Yes.
and Officer Barboza.
Yes.
Okay, so the meeting minutes for November and December are now approved. Second on the agenda, the meeting dates, I guess we'll do. It's come to light, unless you want to explain it, Laura.
Sure. So the dates that we approved in December, unfortunately, someone already has those booked for the whole year. So we need to come up with other dates. We can either do the first Wednesday, the second Wednesday, or the third Wednesday of the month. I mean, we don't even have to have it on a Wednesday. It's whatever the board would like to have them.
It
Just for
doesn't matter to
uniformity,
me.
how about if,
I can't do the first Wednesday because I have park board.
just for the uniformity then, why don't we move it all to the third Wednesday of the month? And then
Sounds
if
good.
something comes up, from month to month, we can always fudge it around if we have to.
No.
Okay.
All right, is there a
Thursday.
motion to move it to the third Wednesday of the month?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Helen makes the motion to move it to the third Wednesday of the month. Anyone care to second that?
Second it.
Natalie seconds it.
Sorry, Joe.
Madam Clerk, or will we take a roll call on that meeting movement?
Sure. Helen Rigo,
Yeah, yes.
Natalie Mello,
Yes.
and Officer Jose Barboza.
Yes.
Okay, the meetings will be moved to the third Wednesday of the month, beginning February of 2021. Next on the agenda would be public input. And we do have an email from a Joseph Sharves on Robeson Street. I just got it today. Laura just got it today. I'll read it in its entirety, even though I will need to clear my throat many times. It's pretty long. Dear Traffic Commission, good evening and thank you for listening to my citizen input. My name is Joseph Sharves. I'm a proud lifelong resident of Fall River with my wife and have decided to raise our two wonderful boys in this historic city. I'm reaching out to you as an extremely concerned citizen who has personally witnessed the traffic on Robeson Street get habitually worse over the 10 years I have lived at my current address. Robeson Street from Pine Street to the Highland Avenue merge, according to the State of Mass DOT, contains 4 intersections that are in the top 5% of city crash locations. From additional research, I have learned that Robeson Street is one of the most dangerous roads in the Commonwealth, contributing to many vehicular fatalities. Excuse me. Specifically concerning is the section of Robeson Street between Stewart Street and Valentine Street. It is at this stretch I am daily witnessing passenger cars traveling at speeds double the speed limit, passing on a double-lined roadway, and most egregious, heavy load commercial vehicles traveling so fast my house trembles. Most recently on 1/24/21, my 15-year-old dog, who because of age was not quick, was hit and killed after merely stepping off the curb onto Robeson Street. The vehicle involved did not stop to see what damage was caused to the pure white fluffy animal, but instead did not even slow down. On 127/21 today, while shoveling the sidewalk in front of my house, I witnessed a passenger car pass another car while both were traveling over the speed limit. The combination of these occurrences and the weekly, monthly violent crashes we hear and see from intersections, Florence and Robeson, Langley and Robeson, Valentine and Robeson, Wiedemo and Robeson, and the countless rear collisions into parked cars need to be remedied. He cited the source that he got for the 5% city crash locations. And he writes, "Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Joseph Sharves." The letter makes sense. I mean, it could as easily been addressed to to my unit here, the traffic unit in the police department. So based on the letter, I am going to have the officers that work for the traffic unit target a little more enforcement in that area. They do already do a stretch of Robeson Street, but we'll give that a little more targeted enforcement as a result of the letter. As far as the traffic board, I can't think of any other signage or anything the traffic board can do to alleviate traffic. I think enforcement is the only thing. I mean, that road has been used for hundreds of years. I mean, it's pretty polished as far as traffic handling. Laura?
We can drive through those intersections and see if there's any speed limit signs up. At some of those intersections, except, when cars are approaching that intersection, we can do slow signs, dangerous intersection. I don't think there's any like that right now, except at Robeson and Valentine because of that accident that occurred there. So I know that we put quite a bit of signage up there. So we can do that with these other intersections as well. I know that Jane, our grant writer, is putting together a grant which is supposed to help the city getting some of the pedestrian signs that are lit up with lights. They're looking at a couple of more intersections. I could give them some of these intersections, and maybe they, if the grant is approved, they would get those pedestrian signs that would tell you to use caution when you're approaching that intersection. So that's something that we can look at and see if it can be feasible for these intersections.
All right, so we can check to see if there are stop signs missing, maybe I'm sorry, not stop signs, speed limit signs that may not have been replaced perhaps or something like that. We can look for that being missing. As far as like Stewart Street and Robeson and some of the smaller side streets, if we keep putting dangerous intersection signs throughout a long stretch of road, people are just going to not pay attention to them. If we call
you're
every
right.
intersection a dangerous intersection, then they're all going to treat them the same. I think out of those intersections, of course, as we know, Valentine and Robeson probably needs the most attention, or whatever we can do to alleviate the issues we've had there in the past. But I don't want to just put up, caution hazard signs all over the street and then nobody will pay attention to them.
Well, we already took care of Valentine and Robeson. That one has dangerous intersection and the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
So, and you're right. You don't want to be driving every single one seeing the sign. But we'll definitely check and see if speed limits signs are needed. Okay.
Okay, Helen, you
Laura?
got a question?
Sergeant, it is very true. I've seen a lot of that on Robeson Street. Matter of fact, one day last week, I think, you know what the store is? I don't know the name of that store. And I was actually going to call Laura, wondering if there's any way we can put a crosswalk. Because a lot of people, especially at night, you can't see people crossing the streets going to that store. So
Yep.
I'm wondering if there's anything they can do. And maybe that might slow some of the traffic as well, seeing a crosswalk.
Like Laura just mentioned, there is a grant in the works right now to improve
Right.
pedestrian access throughout the city, and they were looking for locations. So, Laura, maybe you can write that one down. And to piggyback on that, I spoke to the grant writer, and I also added Highland Avenue and President Avenue.
She told me.
They're going to try to work on that too, because obviously that's been one of the worst intersections we've had in the city. And Helen, I see you keep raising your hand.
How about putting that what is it, that machine that records the speed,
The speed trailer, that's what I'll target from the police end. We'll target it with enforcement. I'll put the speed trailer. I'll have some of my officers do a little more enforcement on that street to get the word out that speeding will not be tolerated over there.
Very good.
Anybody else have any other ideas?
I think it's good.
the camera. Get the number.
Cameras.
Get a camera, put the number. Do like Providence, put the cameras up.
Anyway, we'll move on to the next topic. Curb cuts. There are no curb cuts this month.
Thank you. No curb cuts.
So now we have requests for handicap spaces, and there are only 3 of them. The first one is for 83 Harrison Street. I went by. It's your typical cluttered Fall River neighborhood with 3 family houses. They do not have off-street parking. So I recommend that this handicap parking space be approved.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Natalie made a motion to approve. Helen seconded the motion. Can we have a roll call, Madam Secretary?
Helen Rigo? Helen?
She's got it on mute again. Helen, you have your microphone on mute. While we're waiting for Helen, Natalie, can you?
Helen,
Okay.
Helen Rigo?
yes.
Natalie Mello?
Yes.
And Officer Jose Barboza?
Yes.
I love Helen's smile.
Okay, so that motion carries. Next on the list is 655 Charles Street. The petitioner does not have any driveway access. There is plenty of room. The petitioner is asking for the signage to be on the Milk Street side of the property because that's the entrance that they use. And that won't affect any of the neighbors' parking or anything like that. So I recommend that we approve this application as well.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Helen makes a motion to approve. Would anyone like to second it?
Second.
Second.
Jose won. Jose seconds it. Madam Secretary, will you do a roll call, please?
Helen Rigo?
Yes.
Natalie Mello?
Yes.
And Officer Jose Barboza?
Yes.
Okay, that one also carries. The last for the handicap parking applications is 95 Cedar Street. It's the exact same situation as the first one at 83 Harrison. Tight parking over there. They don't have a driveway available for them. So I recommend that we approve this one as well.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Okay, Natalie made the motion to approve. Helen seconded it. Madam Secretary, will you do a roll call, please?
Helen Rigo?
yes.
Natalie Mello?
Yes.
And Officer Jose Barboza?
Yes.
Okay, that motion also carries. And that's it for the handicap parking applications. Under miscellaneous requests, I have a short letter from Indelible Ink Tattoo Studio at 1163 Pleasant Street. To whom this may concern, I, Antone Estrella, own and operate a tattoo and body piercing business located on 1163 Pleasant Street. Currently, there are 2 to 3 parking spaces in front of the studio to be shared between 3 businesses, and it is consumed by tenants for days at a time. Due to the lack of parking, I would like to ask to reserve these spots between the times of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for up to 15 minutes to 2-hour limits. Thank you, Antone Estrella. After receiving the letter, I went online and I looked at the hours for the 3 businesses. And like his business doesn't open until 2 p.m. So instead of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.,
Yeah.
based on the 3 businesses, I suggest we allow 2 spots there. There's room for 3 parking spots in front of that business. We allow for 2 Monday through Friday from 9 AM to 6 PM. And, I mean, I don't know how long it takes to get a tattoo or whatever, but, maybe limit it to an hour. There's a cell phone store, the tattoo studio, and there's a hairdresser there. It'd be 9 AM to 6 PM and make the limit 1 hour.
I have a question. Is there any
Yes.
meters up that way?
No.
No.
The only thing is, Sergeant Nolan, I mean, the hairdresser, you're there more than an hour. And tattoo, if you're gonna get a big tattoo or you're gonna be there more than an hour. I mean, if we're gonna change it to 9 AM to 6 PM, I suggest maybe 2-hour parking. But
Makes sense.
again, you're talking about two businesses that you could be there for more than an hour.
Well, my haircuts don't take more than an hour.
We won't.
It takes less and less every year too. All right, I think 2 hours sounds good. Anybody else have any input?
No. 2 hours is good.
All right, so I propose that someone makes a motion that we make the parking Monday through Friday from 9 AM to 6 PM with a 2-hour time limit for 2 spots in front of those businesses.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Officer Barboza makes the motion. Anyone care to second it? Was that Natalie?
I think it
Second,
was Helen.
Oh, Alan seconded the motion. Okay, Madam Clerk, will you take a roll call, please?
Sure. Helen Rigo,
yes.
Natalie Mello,
Yes.
and Officer Jose Barboza.
Yes.
Okay, so that motion also carries. The only thing left is to rescind the parking spaces due to individuals no longer utilizing the space because they have either moved, no longer drive, or have passed away. Chase Street, Franklin Street, Pine Street, Abbott Place, Barnes Street, and Whipple Street. Is there a motion to remove those parking spaces?
Motion to remove.
Ellen makes a motion to remove. Anyone care to second it?
Second.
Natalie seconds it. Madam Clerk, will you take a roll call, please?
Sure. Helen Rigo,
Yes.
Natalie,
Yes.
and Officer Jose Barboza.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Those parking spaces will be removed. Is there any other business we need to discuss?
Nope.
Anyone like to make a very important motion right now then?
Motion to adjourn?
Anyone care to
Second
second? Okay, Officer Barboza made the motion. Natalie Mello seconded it. Do we need to do a roll call for that motion, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Would you please do a roll call for the motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Helen Rigo,
Yes.
Natalie Mello,
Yes.
and Officer Jose Barboza.
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, then this motion, this meeting is adjourned.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Now